And then with Ja, he's a funny guy. He has a lot to say all the time, especially for a guy who rarely takes accountability. But you know what? That's for another day.
What did Ja have to say on this occasion?
Nothing of intelligent depth. It was really just his just running his mouth, and he's been running his mouth for a long time. And it's funny to run your mouth when you're on the bench. It's kind of the story of his career so far, just leaving us wanting more. You know, we all want to see him out there and do his best, but he's just been letting a lot of other stuff get in the way of that. We need that in the NBA. We need our best players to be out there, and when you're a star, it comes with a great responsibility. I hate to see that go to waste.
That is Klay Thompson calmly responding, and maybe that's the worst of all, when a troll gets in your face and just decides to go nuts. Ja Morant up in Klay Thompson's face with the quote, "You a bum now," and obviously it created some conversation on the court, to put it lightly, and Klay was asked about it afterwards, and that was his response. A very measured, calm response from Klay regarding Ja, but let's not get it twisted, Caroline. In the process of that calm, measured response, he eviscerated him. He absolutely ripped him to shreds there.
But did he say anything that was wrong or inaccurate or a false portrayal of what Ja has been over the last several years? I mean, Klay said, he's running his mouth. He's running his mouth from the bench. He always has something to say, so on and so forth. And that is kind of where Ja is at. I think that Klay Thompson very accurately pointed out where Ja is at this point. Like, if you are Ja Morant, you can't be up in people's faces, especially Klay Thompson. Look, Klay Thompson's not the best player by any stretch of the imagination this season, but Klay Thompson's won championships. Klay Thompson's been at the pinnacle of the sport. Klay Thompson is very well regarded in the league, very well respected and well liked in the league by coaches, by players, by fan bases. Like, I don't know who really has a bad thing to say about Klay Thompson that has actual legitimate merit and legs. So Ja's out here just continuing to run his mouth when Ja can't get out of his own way. Ja can't stay on the court. That Ja doesn't have any basis for starting beef with Klay Thompson. And, I think the thing that Klay Thompson pointed out that I think is fair is we all want to see Ja out there and playing. It is so fun to watch Ja Morant when Ja Morant is cooking, but he hasn't been able to be out there in the court. So it just feels like it's like a gnat, like kind of just in your face, and it's annoying. That's kind of what Ja Morant was to Klay Thompson. Just get out of my way. Just quit being annoying and put your money where your mouth is. And if you want to talk the talk, that's fine. But you can't talk the talk if you don't walk the walk. And Ja Morant has not been walking any walk this season.
I mean, that's the part of this trash talking that's lost on me. Like, Klay Thompson is 35, Ja Morant is 26, right? There's almost a decade between these two. And I think the important part of the quote is "you're a bum now," which acknowledges the fact that even if you think that Klay is a shell of what he used to be as a player, he's accomplished more in his career than Ja could ever imagine. Ja can't even get on the court. Ja can't stay on the court. And when he is on the court, he hasn't won anything near to the level that Klay Thompson has won. So, like, the conversation of "you a bum now" implies that Ja's accomplished anything near where Klay was when Klay wasn't a bum in Ja Morant's eyes. Like, look, at this point, if we're being honest about Ja Morant, he's a more relevant character in 2K than he is an actual basketball player. Like, he's great on a video game, and on an actual court, he's meaningless because he can't stay healthy enough. And when he is healthy, the team doesn't win enough. And when they do win, they're answering questions about everything that Ja's doing that has nothing to do with basketball. Tom Haberstroh tweeted out games played over the last 3 seasons. Klay Thompson, 166. Ja Morant, 71. Like, I don't really know how you can call anybody a bum when you make no tangible difference to the team that you play for anymore. Like, you are supposed to be the landmark billboard that makes your entire franchise relevant, and you can't stay on the court long enough for any of that to happen. And this behavior continues to just remind me when everybody says, "Oh, you know what, Ja needs a fresh start. Let's trade Ja. He gets out of Memphis. He gets a fresh start." Maybe the problem isn't Memphis. Maybe the problem is Ja. And there are some people that just, no matter where you put them, there's still going to be a problem. And at this point, the city of Memphis, the organization of the Grizzlies, they continue to be patient. They continue to try and make it work because they know they need the brand and the power that Ja brings to it. But for what? I mean, for what? Like, you're out here talking your talk from the bench because you can't stay on the court. You can't make an impact. And I'm not sure anybody actually trusts. Like, I don't think Ja could go anywhere in the league and not still at this point be a pain in the butt. I don't know what he offers a team other than a mouthpiece and a billboard, because what he offers on the court doesn't actually equate to anything. So maybe Klay is a bum now, but maybe Ja should look in the mirror and ask, what value do I bring to any NBA franchise today?
I'd rather have Klay Thompson than Ja Morant on my team right now. And maybe that sounds crazy, but I don't like, what value does Ja Morant bring to any team in the league if he can't be on the court? If he is more of a sideshow than he is a spectacle on the basketball court. Like, let's not put this on Memphis, okay? This is not Memphis's fault. There have been plenty of players that have come and gone through the Grizzlies organization that haven't gotten even at a fraction of the amount of trouble that Ja Morant has gotten in. At this point, I feel like Ja would get in trouble in Utah. And I feel like it's really hard to find any sort of shenanigans to get into in Utah. But you make a fair point, because we do talk about this a lot. Ja just needs to get out of Memphis, needs to get out of Memphis. Okay, well, who's trading for Ja Morant right now? What would you be willing to trade for Ja Morant, a guy that has all of the upside in the world? His best basketball, I think, physically is ahead of him. If he can just stay on the straight and narrow, I can't trust him to stay on the straight and narrow. I would love to sign up for the basketball that Ja Morant can bring your organization, but he hasn't been doing a lot of that. So, like, sure, if the Grizzlies want to entertain trade talks, that's fine. But what are you going to get back in return for Ja Morant to make that trade worth it? Because I'm not trading valuable assets for Ja when I can't trust Ja.
The hardest part, I've talked to people that cover the Grizzlies quite a bit, and they remind me that the organization needs Ja Morant because he's a selling piece. He helps move tickets. He helps keep the arena more full. And I get that. And it's almost like you're trapped in this situation where the very selling piece that you have, the reason that people are interested in your franchise, also is not something that your franchise can bank on to win a bunch of games. It's not something that's going to make your team great. Like, if the question is, can the Grizzlies win with Ja Morant? I think the answer to that has been proven, even with some pieces around him. Like, let's not get it twisted. Jaren Jackson Jr. has played really well throughout the course of the last several years, even when he's had to figure out whether or not he's got Ja next to him or he doesn't have Ja next to him. So they've tried to put pieces around him. Like, at what point do you just look around and say, man, like, none of this is really worth it? Like, our return on investment on Ja Morant just isn't worth it. And it's weird because, Caroline, you're right. Like, I think other teams look around and say, well, what's Ja worth to me? But to the Grizzlies, he still has tremendous value because he's one of the few things that reminds people that Memphis has a basketball team nationally. Like, he is that star that makes your brand part of the national conversation. So it's a tough spot for Memphis to be in, even because, frankly, even if they want to give him a fresh start, they can't get tangible value back for him. But what do they really need for him? Like, they're stuck in the middle of no man land trying to figure out how to win, and I don't think they're going to win enough with Ja. So eventually, they're just going to have to send him somewhere else. And my hope is that when that happens, Ja has a Luka-like awakening where, like, he suddenly changes some things in his life and gets things on track. I just don't know what proof of concept we have. And when guys like Klay are coming out so calmly telling you just how worthless his words are, that speaks to something about the way the league perceives you as well. I think this is all a statement, not just on Memphis, but more importantly, a statement on Ja.
I think that's what it is. That, he has to take responsibility for it. You can't wag your finger at an organization or a city for the actions of an individual who is an adult and can make his own decisions. And I think you have to ask, at what point is it just not worth it for Memphis anymore? Because you have to put butts in seats and you have to sell tickets and you want to be nationally relevant. And that, Ja Morant is your ticket to being nationally relevant and putting butts in seats. But at what point, and I don't think we're there now, but at what point is it just not worth it anymore? The lack of trade value that you might get in return for Ja, the fact that you're trading away a superstar, at what point does that look more attractive than dealing with the circus that Ja Morant brings?
Yeah, when the jersey sales dip, it's unfortunate. Like, look, Memphis isn't going to win, and they're going to have to figure it out. I think the right strategy is for Memphis. Honestly, this is the first time I've said this in all the years I've watched this basketball team. I think it's time to just trade Ja, start the rebuild, start over, take the hit, and figure out what to do next. I just don't know that I think Ja can go anywhere, and I think we're going to get a different version of Ja Morant. All right, we'll keep breaking down, obviously, whatever happens from there, because Ja's going to be in the conversation for weeks to come until we know where his final destination is. But coming up next, it's Monday. We've got a Monday Night Football matchup for the ages, a big one with a lot on the line. Caroline thinks that team is absolutely about to dominate. We'll tell you why.